This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage, where we are wrapping up the G.I. Joe duology.
Pork chop sandwiches, folks.
You know it!
Remember that?
No.
Remember those videos?
I don't remember anything.
Those videos? They got the redubbed G.I. Joe videos?
I haven't seen those.
The guy's like, pork chop sandwiches. And he's running into a burning house or whatever.
I don't know your 2007 memes, Mason.
All right. I'll show you later. You're going to love it.
Bet there's one in the video. I bet Ben put it in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you know this meme that Mason's talking about, let us know below. We're not doing the animated movie. We might come back to it. If Snake Eyes gets another prequel, we'll come back.
Yeah, okay, great.
Anyways, leave a like if you want, because this time around, Stephen Summers is out. John M. Chu, director, is in.
Terrific.
I feel like for this one, they were hoping for a Fast Five style reboot by adding The Rock. By the way, another The Mummy franchise alumni.
Yeah, that's right.
If you don't mind me saying
the
so.
Scorpion King himself.
Exactly.
Well, what's interesting about this movie is that the last one had a cast of colourful characters. And in this one, they're like, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna kill some of the Joes off camera. We're gonna kill some of them on camera.
Are you talking about Marlon Wayans?
Yeah, he off camera, definitely off camera. Channing's Tatum on camera, and so they're gonna replace all of them with a new core group, which is obviously Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Adrian Pilecki.
That's right.
A very common alumni in this particular series of videos. Someone who I think does a great job with some very bad material sometimes. Yeah. And the third member, which is a cardboard cutout of a Target model. From a Target catalog, maybe?
Is that the guy?
Yeah, that guy. You know that guy?
He was nearly Superman.
Huh.
He was in George Miller's Justice League. He was Superman. He's also in Shazam.
Huh.
Yeah, he's in the Super
Well,
family.
I'm glad he's been in other things, because in this, what the fascinating thing to me is not only did they replace Channing's Tatum, the very charismatic Channing's Tatum, with whoever this guy's name is. I'm not going to look it up, and I will never learn it.
I think it's DJ Cotrona.
Huh.
The actor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But not only did they replace Channing's, Mr. Tatum's, they decided to put a scene at the start of the movie to show how charismatic he is and how well he integrates with the rest of the cast, and then knock him off and then just replace him with this silhouette of a man.
I have a theory.
Go on.
I think the studio thought that Channing Tatum was running out of juice.
Please, Channing's Tatum's.
Channing's Tatum's, right? And so they thought...
Tatum's has 3 S's at the end.
And they thought, we'll slip him a couple mil... We'll get him in for a day. He'll be the bridge between this movie and the last. But here's the thing.
Physically the bridge. They wanted him to have to hold 2 pieces of suspension
while
bridge
The Rock climbed over it.
Runs over the top.
Just big heavy boots just digging into it.
But there seems to be little to no information on this.
Yeah.
He didn't initially even want to do the first one, really.
So my theory is that they needed something from the previous movie and they thought, why not? We'll get him cheap. But here's the thing. In 2012, a year before this movie came out...
And they paid him $1 million, and then they're like, oh, wait, we had this gun. This inanimate gun. We could have used that to bridge the 2 movies.
Exactly.
We paid $1 million for this man. Go on.
So in 2012, the year before this movie came out, he was the second highest paid actor behind Robert Downey Jr. He made $60 million with movies like The Vow, the rom-com or whatever it is. It's his wife... loses his memory, and then Channing Tatum has to be like, "You're married to me."
Nice.
I'm Channing Tatum's. Is that what you want?
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah.
Then he did Magic Mike and 21 Jump Street, and then they went, "Shit.
Yeah.
We've only had him in for a day, and he was quite charismatic, and it works really well with The Rock, but I guess we have to kill him off." Speaking of, we've talked privately, Mason, about how we don't often talk about what the story is.
We've never talked privately, James.
That's true. It's all on-air content. So I figure for these videos, we should talk a little bit about the story, and I'm going to give you a prompt.
Okay.
So at the start of this movie, they give you a bit of a kind of a catch-up from the previous movie.
It's been 4 years, and apparently 4 years of stuff has been happening.
They said at the end of the Nanomite Wars.
Yeah, right?
It wasn't really a war. It was like half a day, maybe.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Somebody ran through a shopping complex with a big green glowing bazooka or whatever happened.
Right. Yeah.
I think it was a rocket launcher. Apologies.
They should have called it the one green bazooka incident. It's like the name of an Offspring album or something.
So other things they're doing stuff?
I think what happened is, because the thing about the last one is the last one ended with, as you mentioned previously, Rex says, hey, I'm the Cobra Commander now. And then he immediately gets arrested. Him and Destro, they get thrown into prison. But at the start of this one, the thing you said about the Nanomite Wars, and clearly there were some casualties, including Marlon Wayans.
Yes.
Right? But when Storm Shadow and Firefly in this movie break Cobra Commander out of prison.
Yep.
It's a different prison.
Yes.
And then Cobra Commander's like, Firefly, my old buddy. We've been war buddies for ages. But he was like, Cobra Commander was just a scientist in the last one. So what I'm thinking happened is
That was. I think you've hit on something because I'm like, why does everybody know this guy?
and also and then Cobra Commander's like, well, off to my secret headquarters, and he goes there and it's got all the Cobra logos and all this sort of stuff, which weren't in the last one, and like all new tech and stuff. So what I think happened is Cobra Commander and Destro got broken out of the prison at the end of the first one. They got new outfits and like new logos, and they participated in the nanomine.
They did a
wars.
rebrand.
Yeah, they did a little
much like the movie G.I. Joe Retaliation.
They got a new typeface for their logo, and then then Cobra Commander and Destro got thrown back into a different prison.
Yeah.
This one, wardened by Wally Goggs, Mr.
Love him.
Walton
Big
Goggins.
fan.
That's
I put him
right.
in my segment at the end where I'm like, here's some things I didn't talk about, but
Just as Walton Goggins is in this one.
pretty much.
But then, so then Cobra Commander is broken out of prison by Storm Shadow and Firefly, and then they're like, what we're going to do is the plot is what they're going to do is they're going to frame G.I. Joe for blowing up a bunch of stuff that they were probably going to blow up anyway, and then they're going to install Cobra as the United States government's premier security force.
because the president
Is the guy from The Mummy, from
There's
the
your-
first Mummy movie.
There's your bridge.
Yeah,
right there.
That's right. They should have just said that at the start. Hey, new viewers, the guy from The Mummy is the president now, but he's also the guy from that James Bond movie.
Agreed. Here's something I like about this movie. I think the Snake Eyes costume is much better.
Oh my god, it's so much. All the costumes are
It's
better.
lips free.
Yep.
Cobra Commander's a great costume.
Yeah. They've gone with it. There's a few Cobra Commander looks. Obviously, they've gone with the silver mask one.
Yep.
But there's also like the sort of your jar of jam. You put a jar of jam and you put like a cloth covering over the top. The cloth
Yes.
covering, like.
I know the one.
But it's got a Cobra logo on it instead of being
They
Gingham.
didn't use that one because it looks like a KKK mask.
Yeah. And then there's like the robot battle suit version,
Yeah.
which I mean maybe we would have gotten G.I. Joe 3, but who knows?
Here's the thing though, aside from like those distinct characters, this feels like two movies because everybody else is a boring generic army person.
Mm-hmm.
It's just camos and a weird tank and just kind of rolling
The hiss tank,
over.
please.
Shut up. Just rolling over a field. Like the last battle is just like, we're in this field.
Yeah.
Like the last one I think went too far because it was like, it's an underwater submarine and everybody's got a ship and a laser and there's a nanomite. And this one's just like, it's just on a lawn. Just on someone's lawn.
Just some SUVs on a lawn, really. Just a couple of Humvees on a lawn.
See, I think there's a lot of stuff that is better. I think the Storm Shadow Snake Eyes stuff is all pretty solid.
Yeah.
And everything else is total generic army shit.
Interesting. I thought this struck a better balance, honestly. I think overall this is I think this is indisputably a better movie.
Disagree.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think the
Well, then
Snake...
agree to disagree.
I think the Snake Eyes Storm Shadow stuff is better. But speaking of, let's talk about that because there's some genuinely good action sequences between those two.
Yeah.
Like the fighting alone. But then there's a moment where it's just like, we're doing ninja stuff on the side of a mountain. And it's fucking amazing. It's really
Right,
good.
right.
It's
I
really
think
good.
that is certainly, I don't know if that was directly out of a comic book, but that's certainly like it felt like some Frank Miller era Daredevil.
Yeah.
Like he's fighting the hand or whatever.
Well,
which
Daredevil,
is interesting
yeah.
because the lady who played Elektra in the Netflix series is also in this as Jinx.
Exactly.
She probably has a name. It's on the screen, maybe?
Yeah, here it is.
Wow.
That's the alarm when that lady's name comes up.
That we forgot a name that we should we could very easily look up.
Exactly.
Alarm.
Yeah, but I think that was really cool. Like ninjas swinging across, they're cutting them into the ravine. There's an avalanche. It's just good stunt work all around. Also, Storm Shadow's in a bag and they're just smashing him against a rock.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
That's really good.
Should we put a helmet on him first? Nah, the bag will protect him. It's probably fine.
This canvas bag.
And they're like, Cobra thinks they're going to win, but we've got an ace up our sleeve. A big bag of Storm Shadow soup. Just pour it out.
And then we get some Storm Shadow origin. Now, he's not really a guy in the comics or the show. I looked this up that normally switches sides. But he has...
I disagree.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because I looked it up and they were like, this is highly unusual. So
really?
Was that not the case?
No, he was a Cobra guy for ages, and then I mean, you know, if you look at the action figures alone, it starts out Cobra, later editions. Wow. G.I. Joe all around, yeah. Oh,
well, there you go.
That's
now I
right.
feel like a right fool.
We'll blame, you know...
That thing I briefly
GIJoeuniverse.com or whatever it was.
Here's the alarm for a thing that I forgot. It's that alarm again.
Yeah, right.
It's flashing up that he did change. He changed sides.
That's right.
But I also enjoyed the flashback of Storm Shadow didn't really kill their master.
I knew it was.
You said
Zartan.
it last week.
I had a great
You
guess.
said him and another guy.
I said
think.
it. Maybe it was Firefly also, but I don't know. They teamed up.
They teamed up, yeah.
They held hands and they fired the gun together. I don't know.
But what I thought was hilarious is that he was then trained by Zartan, who wore very unconvincing Asian prosthetics for
Decades.
potentially.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is they got Arnold Vosloo back for minutes. Seconds.
Yeah.
Because technically he's the president, but he's not the actor doing that.
Very briefly, you see him sort of
That's what I
fiddle
mean.
with his nanomite camouflage.
Yeah. Poor Destro also. Yeah. I'm not going to get you out of this cage, Destro, because you weren't very nice in the G.I. Joe press conferences from the previous movie, Destro.
Nice.
You said you hated that movie. Situation.
It's interesting they didn't just recast Destro.
Yeah, because he's just a metal-faced man. Doesn't matter, does it? Yeah. We knew what else I thought was interesting is The Rock in this, and you don't see that, and you don't see this as much anymore. He gets bested hand to hand.
Right, never happens anymore. It's in his contract. He's always got to win.
We've talked about it. We've done videos on it, and it's probably more in relation to the Fast and Furious movies. But if you don't know, essentially, in that franchise specifically, everybody has a handler, and they add up the numbers of punches and kicks, and also the amount of times that you fall over. And also, if you fall over, you have to be sitting up so you're not seen as a coward when you fall over, so that everybody on screen hits each other an equal amount of times. It's fucking lunacy.
It is. And they would have to do it both on set and then later in the edit.
Exactly.
So it's so much work.
I think there's exceptions to that because, for example, when he loses to Brixton in what's that one?
Hobbs and Shaw.
But I think also they're no, he's got super mutant nanite technologies, that's why he lost that particular fight. But in the end, he won because he threw him off a cliff or whatever happened in that really good movie. I want to talk about the ending also. I want to swing back around to it, if you don't mind, Mason, because they're on that lawn. And
for the big lawn fight, sure.
Yeah, there's there's a fan boat, and that's G.I. Joe-esque, and people are walking around in their funny costumes or camos, right?
Yeah.
He gets the best of
Ray Stevenson
Firefly, and he explodes him. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But then
it's weird that Ray Stevenson got on that fan boat. He's like, there's another fan boat The Rock could easily chase me with.
Yeah.
I've got all these explosives on me.
Yeah.
Should I blow up that fan boat? No, there's no time. I'll just let him get the fan boat.
Let him get it. Well, he already bested him once.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Yeah. But what I love is they defeat everybody and they get medals from the real president or whatever happens, and they've all got little berets, which signifies the end of a G.I. Joe situation.
That's right.
Generally.
Yeah. The dress uniform, sure.
Yeah, but then...
You don't want to see a G.I. Joe movie where they're all prancing about in their dress uniforms for 90 minutes?
Well, I want to see a movie where at the end Snake Eyes is in his costume, but he's wearing a little beret at the end as he gets a medal from the president.
Was he not at the medal
He
ceremony?
was, but I think he's just in costume. I think.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah,
I don't remember. But they're like, we did it, well done, you saved the world. London exploded. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was pretty significant. There's how many millions of people live in that city? Yeah. Just it rises and falls into the earth.
How many chip shops were lost, James? How many chippies?
It's devastating.
Right?
And the other thing is, they weren't even close to stopping that from happening.
No.
It happened... Yeah. They weren't even probably on the same continent at that point.
It's fascinating that a lot of these movies, especially, if they're targeted towards kids, they'll go out of their way to not... The bad guy will threaten to do something bad and nothing will eventuate from it,
Yeah.
But in this, they're just I thought about that. There must have been, in the production office, a whiteboard of let's brainstorm some cities we could destroy and nobody would complain about it.
I think the problem is as well, you need a significant city. You're not going to do the US, right? And you can't do France because they did Paris briefly in the last movie. So they went, what's that big clock that everybody knows? What's that big wheel that everybody knows?
The Melbourne Star.
Exactly.
They should have blown up the Melbourne Star in Docklands.
The Melbourne Star is slowly destroying itself, Mason.
It's true.
Through lack of maintenance and poor planning.
G.I. Joe production team, if you're making a sequel and you wanna
some significant
just blow
landmarks.
Come on, blow up somebody in Australia. We love it. We're like, there's the thing. There's a thing.
We love pointing at a thing.
There's Melbourne's Royal Botanic Gardens being destroyed by a satellite weapon.
So that's fun. Speaking of fun, and by fun I mean a man who's potentially never cared Bruce Willis
Yes,
shows
right.
up in this as the original G.I. Joe. And we know that because somebody says it to him, or he says it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems as if they filmed it in his house.
Yeah, he's in 3 locations. It's in his house.
No, is he?
Well, he's in his house.
Yep.
And then there's the bit where he rescues the president, so he's there for that.
Yeah.
And then there's a bit outside his house.
Well-
It's outside a house.
I think that's green screen, and also there's a bit where
there's
he's in the-
definitely some green screen. When he's in the back of
Yeah.
he's in the back of a truck firing a big gun, that's definitely green screen. Yeah.
he was lying on his couch.
yeah. Right.
They took him.
They green screened in the gun, they green screened in the truck, they green screened in the location.
Yeah. So, but you though had a fascinated. Well, we both are about the evolution of Bruce Willis.
Yeah, long has been the Hollywood scuttlebutt.
Yes.
I've never seen. I've not seen a lot of documented evidence, but a lot of people have a theory that Bruce Willis, generally speaking, in the modern era, Bruce Willis, generally speaking, will only work on any given movie for a day.
And for
$1 million.
yes. Now I looked into this, did a lot of research. I watched interviews for him for this, and he's like, "I love G.I. Joe and I love action movies," and I'm like, "You've stopped saying those things, haven't you?"
Right?
So, but
No, in every interview, James, he still says, "I love G.I. Joe."
so I looked around. I had a bit of a poke around the internet.
Yeah.
Gave
it a bit of an internet poke around.
I did. And
It's time for James's internet poke around. Boing, boing, boing.
bloop bloop. So this is an article from The Mirror in 2013.
The Daily Mirror.
It just says The Mirror.
Okay, right.
Might be Bruce Willis talking into a mirror.
Do you think it might be an enchanted mirror?
Could be.
Yeah, maybe.
Who's the
Who's the most disillusioned actor of them all? Oh, it's me still. It's still Bruce Willis.
So he says, "I'm very clear with who I am. I work on all sorts of films, but the action movies are the ones that generate the most revenue. I like to earn lots of money from those, but I do all types, small productions, mega projects, medium-sized, even science fiction."
That's right, yeah.
But the idea behind this Payday, though, is, I don't know if you remember this, but he actually turned down $3 million for 4 days' work on Expendables 3 because he wanted $4 million.
Because he was in the previous two?
It was in one of them at least.
right,
I think
great.
they go into a church and Bruce Willis is like, I'm also in action movies. And the three of them,
And I love G.I. Joe.
but I won't get off this couch.
Okay, but so Stallone was like, hey, man, you want $3 million for 4 days' work? And he's like, well, that's not $4 million for 4 days'
Yeah.
work. I shan't do it.
So that's kind of, there was some bad blood there. Stallone's talked about how he's like unprofessional and not cool and all those kinds of things. So there was a bit of hoo-ha
No, yeah,
at the
I bet,
time.
yeah,
a bit
yeah.
of a hullabaloo, if
Sure,
you don't mind me
yeah.
saying so. And so I think that's where that idea of the Payday comes from. But I also think that $1 million a day thing is fairly accurate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Mason, let's have a little chat. In this segment, I like to call...
Am I getting fired? Is that what the
that's
segment's
right.
called? Am I being fired from this? I don't want to have a little chat with anyone.
It's just a casual... It's more of an assessment.
Oh, I
than
don't like this. I don't like where this is going. Oh,
Okay, here's something I liked.
Yes.
I like that little hot hands tool they used at the start to melt
the little,
the fence.
the fence melting hot hands, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's better than
set of tin snips, wire cutters.
that don't require any battery source or anything. Whatever. That's great too.
Yeah.
I like Firefly's little fireflies, and I also like that he has a bike that breaks up into lots of rockets.
Great, right?
Good stuff.
How do you get that built? Yeah?
It's
Did he? Was it a
a custom job, right?
I guess so,
I mean, it
yeah.
would have to be.
Yes.
I don't think you could get them off the shelf.
Sure.
There's something.
It was a very limited run after the after the release of the movie. The Harley Davidson's was like, you want a bike that'll turn into rockets? Well, you get one. One out of limited edition, only 100 made. All 100 owners died.
It's, yeah, no doubt. Here's something I found fascinating. Roadblock was actually supposed to be in the first movie, played by Common.
Huh.
Yeah.
But in this movie,
Yes,
James,
yeah.
the Blind Master is played by the RZA of
That
the
is
Wu-Tang
true.
Clan. Bobby Digital, Prince Rakeem, Prince Delight,
Oh my God.
Bobby Dynamite, the Resurrector, Bobby Boulders, Bob the Builder. He's got a lot of nicknames.
He does. He certainly does. And he's a fan of like martial arts, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he
He's done a bunch
directed
of
a movie
stuff,
called
yeah.
The Man with the Iron Fists.
I never saw that. Is that good? I heard it's
pretty
got some
fun.
good action,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Good stuff. And I also just wanted to mention, just in passing, it's not a minigun.
No, it's a heavy machine gun. It's
Yeah.
a 50 caliber heavy machine gun that Roadblock is using. That is correct.
Everybody who watches these videos knows that you love a minigun minute.
That's correct.
But you will not for a second assess a gun that is not a minigun.
one barrel? Pshaw, James.
Why even bother?
Ugh.
Rather no barrels.
Right? Just a 0 barrel gun, you pull the trigger, it blows your hands off. I'd rather be using one of those, quite frankly.
I also think this movie, it goes for more of a Transformers kind of ending because it has like a knockoff Linkin Park kind of track.
Yeah, it does,
as
yeah.
things are wrapping up. And I think the idea was we can still get this going. This can still be Transformers-esque.
Yeah.
But this is too generic to kind of take off. As I said, there's good stuff, but it's in two separate movies.
Yeah,
you know what I
you're
mean?
absolutely right.
You need to lean into the silliness and the costumes, you know?
Yeah.
I don't mean like make it silly and wacky. I mean, just do like the MCU, I guess. And that's easy to say. Just do what Marvel did.
Just do what Marvel did. That thing that every other studio was attempting to do, and only one succeeded at ultimately. Yeah, just do that, I reckon, yeah. No, you're right. And because, ultimately, while, the main three were Roadblock, Lady J, and Third Guy, I didn't really feel like they were the comic book equivalents of Roadblock, Lady J, and Third Guy.
Yeah.
Give them more colourful characters. Give them some more hot hands gadgets.
Yep.
Give them some, a little bit more. But I mean, overall, I did think this was an improvement. And maybe Snake Eyes will be too.
I think there's a balance that can be struck between the two.
Yeah.
And we'll know by the time G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes is just a boy. He's just a boy who can still talk.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of, guess what? We've covered that movie, haven't we, Mason?
Which one?
For Snake Eyes.
Yeah, it's on our podcast, The
Weekly Planet. The Weekly Planet. Unless we went into another lockdown and we didn't do it.
That's correct,
But we very much plan to do it. And if we didn't go into a lockdown, that is out by now and linked below. And maybe you're like, you have a podcast, but do you have like a private subscription service that's like a Patreon tier, except you control it more and Patreon doesn't take a big chunk of that? Yeah, we do actually.
And it's very shady, thank you very much. We're quite proud of how shady and not transparent it is. It's very opaque. It's the most opaque payment processor on the internet, quite frankly.
It's like the mask of a Cobra Commander, but not in the first movie, in the second movie. It's highly reflective.
And definitely not the third option, the Ku Klux Klan version we said earlier.
It's not that one.
Not that one.
Oh, I want to emphasize strictly that it is definitely not that.
No.
But it's called BigSandwich.co. We do bonus podcasts. We do movie commentaries. Videos go up there early, including Caravan of Garbage. Ben edits them. They go up early, don't they?
That's right. They're terrific.
Anyways, if you've got a suggestion, great. We want to hear it. But here's a hint towards next week. No idea. Can't remember.
Whoa, incredible.
We'll figure it out. Maybe it's another G.I. Joe live action movie that we missed. Yeah. Anyways, we'll be back next week. Subscribe if you want.
Please do.
Even subscribe if you don't want to.
Right.
Just push through that urge.
Yeah, that's right. To just close your browser and do anything else.
No.
Click subscribe instead.
Even if you hated this, hit the bell.
Yeah. You'd really be showing us up if you did that.
Yeah.
We'd really feel bad about it.
Teach us a lesson.
Yeah.
All right. I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
See you on the next one.
Grab that jammy, guys. We'll see you next week. Pork chop sandwiches. You should look it up.
You fucking look it up.
I did, and I loved it.
I will also look it up.
Yeah, nice.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
I mean, if you want. It's up to you.